I just decided that I want to start a big brother for transgenders, and this be a help and support to younger trans men because I didn't have it, and not that I needed the shit because I'm a strong-minded person. I'm a go-getter. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. I'm gonna make this shit happen, but I want to be to somebody what I did not have for myself, and that was guidance. That was just help, support, anything. You know what I'm trying to say? And like, you know what I'm saying? It'll make me feel better about what I'm doing because you're not just a student. You know what I'm saying? You got to become a teacher one of these days. And I feel like right now, I need to give my knowledge back. Whatever I learned, whatever I was able to accomplish, I want to give that back to the next person. So that's just me in a nutshell. Like I said, my name is Dana. I'm 34. I'm from Harlem. And I've been on hormones since 2014. Got my surgery last year, February, the day before Valentine's Day, I think. So that's just a bit about myself. Like, is there anybody that got anything to say? Any questions they want to ask about the project? Anything they want to ask about me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an open person. Like, I'm an open book. Like, anybody can ask me anything. Like, I have no fucking, like, quarrels or I'm not opposed to anything. You feel me? I have somebody calling, so I'm going to answer that. When you start filming on your documentary. Well, I'm gonna do my half Saturday. I'm gonna start my half Saturday, but hold on, let me answer this shit right here.
What's going on there, Mr. Harlem? How you doing?
What's up? How are you doing, Flex Jones?
I'm doing good. I really applaud your accomplishments. I applaud your transition because, as we all know, our journeys are separate from each other. No one's going to evolve the same way that each other evolves.
Right.
Some of us evolve slow, some evolve fast. And the project is a great idea. I think, you know, you're 20 years my youth, and as long as I've been doing this journey, a lot of times we are by ourselves with our journeys.
Right.
It's not that we have to be. It's just that it's just where we are as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some don't want to reach out to those that are already established because it's fear of what do I say? How do I talk?
Right.
I think it's more or less of coming together with other trans men like yourself and unifying to see really before you do this project, really where the need really is needed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what you need to do. And I mean, you know, there was a time that New York still has a close-knit group, but they're getting older, okay? And they're getting more involved in the community as well as doing things in the community.
Right.
I think what's happening with a lot of trans men is they're becoming evolutionists. They're starting over, and with them starting over in their lives, the pathway is a lot easier than it was when I transitioned.
So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 56, still a bachelor.
Okay. And when did you start your transition? When did you start?
When I was 16, and that was in 19, I don't know, remember that day. I can't remember.
Okay, got you.
It was probably about 19. Yeah, it was back in the day. My medical transition, it did not start till 1989, 90.
Okay.
And I did not get that until the past 3 years now.
Right. Okay, congratulations on that.
Yeah. So the journey is hard for everyone, and I understand you want to reach out. I mean, I think what's happened is we've lost ways of communicating, and the best way of doing it, and I'm sorry to say this in my own way, but I hate the fact of not being able to communicate with people one-on-one or meeting up at support groups as we used to do.
Right, exactly.
I think what's happening is we have to find each other via social media.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you might want to do a group there's several several, more than several, groups for trans men mentors or trans men, whatever. There's a lot of those kind of groups out there you might want to reach into and see how they feel and how they might want to interact. You might have locals that want to get involved.
Yeah, that's a good. Go ahead.
I mentor a lot of trans men for a long time. And I'm going to say this, and I love the young guys to death because they're my future. But I think what happens as we get older, we stop dealing with a lot of trans men. They want, they want to grow up, be the men they need to be. But a lot of, like you said, cattiness is going on. A lot of our trans men are picking up cattiness as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we first need to work on creating the idea that you as a man of color or however way you're going to transition is your transition. And I think we need to also understand that gender is very fluid and masculinity and femininity has no real image.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's no real image. And I think that's what we have to cut to when it comes to new trans men and let them know it's okay to be who you are in your transition.
Yeah, and that's a lot where the competition comes in too, because everybody thinks like it's a rule book or it's one way that you're supposed to be, look, act, or think, or date. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. Everyone is completely different, and that's what I want to put out there too. Is like you're cutting somebody off just because they don't think or act the way you do, and you know what I'm saying? We not all the same. You know what I mean? I know I live totally different from a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't judge. You know what I mean?
Right. Cameron said something. A lot of trans men don't talk about their transition. I do. I'll even talk about when I was female bodied to where I am now, because I evolved. I didn't become a man overnight. I just didn't say, wow, here I am. It was an evolution. I cannot take away how I was born.
I'm glad you said
because
that.
Of the fact
keep going. I'm glad you said that.
I can't take away the fact of how I was born, but I can accept the fact that I was female body. And I'm living now as I evolved as the man I am today, as I've become. And then every day I change, I evolve more.
Right.
I grow older and wiser. So no, we can't erase who we were. And I think that's what's happened in several years as some trans men started evolving that I know of that are now your age, are evolving and maybe younger.
Yeah.
They're realizing you can't erase their past. That's like erasing your ethnicity.
I don't know what the whole issue is. Like, I feel like, the whole hiding thing and the whole like stealth or whatever you want to call it, that's their business, and I'm, to each his own, but I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be who I am. I live in my truth, and truth be told, like, I am transgender. Like, I was not born a man. You know what I'm trying to say? And I will never be that. I am exactly what I am, transgender. So there's a lot of people, they don't want to talk about their transition because they cannot deal with the fact that they are transgender. You was not born a man, like you said. Like, you accept the body in the form that you already had, just like myself. So that's my argument to some people too. Is like you don't want to put your story and your transition out there because you don't want to admit your truth, and that's fine. That's fine. But me, I'm gonna put mine out there because I am transgender. I was not born a man. I will never, just like my mother said, I will never be that. I am a transgender. That's what I am. I'm living my truth. And I want other people to do the same. That's why I'm putting this out there.
Right. And that's the thing is that as many times as I reach out to a lot of the young cats out there your way, all over the States, I think what's happening now is we have fraternities and sororities. Trans women sororities, trans men fraternities.
Yeah.
Is happening.
Yeah.
I think that's where the connect is happening, is that they're finding a brotherhood somewhere within themselves to go to.
Yeah.
A boys club and girls club would be great, but the idea when you tell somebody a boys club and a girls club, people are looking at someone who's a child to the age of, I think, 18.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at that, people are looking at that image. Unless you want to call it, I don't know what you would call it. I couldn't even tell you what to call it. But when you say a boys and girls club, people are thinking of younger individuals in transition. And when you get into that, sometimes um, you're dealing with a lot more logistics as far as family and friends and stuff like that.
Yo,
Because you're dealing with you.
my DM, like, it's crazy. It's like, it's something I have to think about because I got, like, not for nothing, it was like a 13-year-old kid in my DM, no names or whatever, but he's like, I'm having trouble, with transitioning my parents. What do I do? And a person would easily tell a kid to run away. I couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So the most I can do is ask the kid, like, were you accepted as a lesbian or AG? They said, yeah. I said, well, if that had taken time for your parents to accept you then, just give them some more time to accept it now. Like, what do you tell a 13-year-old kid who wants to run away from home? Like you said, it's like a lot.
Well, first off, I'll be honest with you all. I didn't run away from home. My mother kicked me out. If my mother didn't kick me out, I was probably still at her house because the cost of my life has cost me more than I would still be home. But that didn't work for me. So for a child to want to run away, you don't want that to happen.
Not at all.
But a lot of times when you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with the law. The law says until they're a certain age, they can emancipate themselves. So if this is a child that can emancipate themselves in the state, if they want to do that, then you help them wanting to do that. But you have to be willing to help them get on their feet and go to the next level. But when you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to emancipate themselves, but still lives at home and knows they can get a free meal, that's something I don't want to say this, but legally, you being older, a parent could turn around and say that you're manipulating that child, you're sexually harassing that child, or you have encouraged this child to do this, and now you become a criminal yourself when you weren't even the criminal. So we have to be careful of the laws that we deal with. That's why a lot of organizations do not involve youth, because of the fact of the legalities and the laws and how parents can be so mean to shut down a good organization for betterment. But for a child that is young, the only thing I could tell them is, look, just stay in touch with me, communicate with me if you need someone to talk to. I'm not coming to your mom and daddy's house because I'm not going to get beat up or nothing. But communicate with me. Yeah, I'm just not going to do it. What you might want to do is what you might want to do is do some kind of support group for young trans men and young women.
Right. That's my plan.
There is if there is a LGBT organization or some form of some organization that can assist you with having that safe space to do that, then I suggest you do that.
Yeah, I got a couple of things lined up. I can't really put that out there just yet, because people will hop on your idea so quick. They just don't know your idea. You know what I'm saying? So I can only say so much, but that is exactly what I want to do. Like, I want to start a support group, and I was calling it Express Yourself, and it was pronounced Eyes, EYS, and I created my own word basically. It's like, really stop watching. Stop just sitting back watching and keeping your mouth closed. Do more. I'm trying to say so. And just like open your mouth and express yourself. So that's just the thought. My support group.
We have something here.
Say it again.
I have something here in North Carolina that I call, it's an empowerment. We don't call it a support group because then you got all these therapies and all that stuff here in North Carolina. Got all these laws. So we call it an empowerment trans group, trans meetup. An empowering meetup session. And we include all ages to come and take part. Even those that love them are allowed to come and take part and be in our space and hear us have conversation, even if it's not about transition. It's just giving us our space that one day out of the week.
Right.
Because we need that space. So,
Rebecca, can you hear me?
My whole thing is that we, when you do something like that, you have to think about the age level that you're going to do that. And then when if it's 18 and over, you really can't call somebody 18 over a boy. because it's insulting when he wants to become a trans man. And this is why I tell people when they transition, you are now my first trans boy. You're evolving from boy to male.
Okay, yeah.
And as you evolve, you become the man you need to be. So I think just from me to you, I would say ponder about it a little bit more, how the logistics are going to affect you or not. Look at your laws in your state and see if it's feasible to do that. I think it's a fabulous idea. If you can do it, run with it.
Got you. I appreciate, this information and stuff like that. It was well needed. I needed to hear this, so it'll help me move forward. Give me some ideas of like how to go about things and what maybe I may not want to do because it may be a little iffy or whatever. So I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So just think of the laws and the logistics and how it would affect an organization and see what avenues you can do with this to figure out, because we have an organization that I began here in North Carolina, and we really wanted it to be for, we have a housing organization we're trying to do underneath it, a housing system, and we really wanted to be for all ages, but we realized we couldn't say, teenagers and adults because there was some logistics we had to deal with and legal things we had to deal with, and then you had to deal with the family. If the family wants to sue you, and then you got to deal with that, get an attorney. And we were like, oh my God, that's not feasible for us right now. Now, maybe 20 years down the line, we can do that, but right now we won't be able to. So there's a lot of logistics. Just think about the logistics. Look at your laws. Look what your laws allow you to do. I think it's fabulous for you to try to do a boys and girls club for young trans men and women under the age of, let's say, 21.
Okay.
And there you have it. They're still not let go at the age of 18.
Okay.
But we all need guidance. And I think what we need to do, and I'm saying this to all those that are listening, and please share this, what we need to do, those of you who have already transitioned, you need to, or not even already transitioned, those of you that are well-seasoned trans folk, if you have been in your transition for more than 5 years, I will suggest to take someone under your wing and work with them.
Say that again, brother.
It doesn't have to be 20 people. You can take one person under your wing, I don't care if it's every year, and guide them and give them, each one teach one, people. Leather man, I'm telling you now, this leather man is telling you each one teach one. You got to take one at a time under your wing. If you can each one teach one and give them guidance and girls, I'm telling you now, ladies, you need to get some of these trans girls under your wings as well. Because a lot of our very wise and intelligent.
Stop the cattiness, stop the
right. A lot of our trans men and trans women can be catty, messy, and everything else.
They will block you.
That's in life.
You go ask them a question like, how do you feel
about this? But you have to understand. Right, but you have to understand that's people in general. They all do messy and catty. Yeah. But when it comes to our community, in order for us to grow, right, in order for us to grow, we each one, if you've been in your transition more than 5 years, I'm asking you, I'm making a challenge right now. I'm challenging everybody that's been in their transition more than 5 years. If there's somebody who's transitioning 2 years, just started, pull them under your legs. Under your wings. Pull them, not under your legs, I'm sorry, y'all. Don't go there. Pull them under your wings and work with them. Work with them. Give them what a parent needs to give a child.
Right.
Because transition, we start over as children.
Somebody just wrote that. When we're transitioning, you're starting over as a child. So you need that guidance, you need that support, you need somebody there. Right. You don't need, but you don't want. So you can be taught the right way or brought up the right way.
Right. I just happen to have the community since I started way back when I was 16. And you're looking at 40-something years ago.
Right.
I had the community as a whole, the whole LGBT underneath me. It wasn't where we were fighting each other, LGBT. We were working together and the community had me. So I had my guidance that way. And I still have people that I'm willing to hear somebody critique me because I'm never perfect. If God made perfect, I'm going to say this to all y'all. If God made perfect or the universe made perfect, I'd be the only one here. None of you all would need to be needed.
Fact. That's a fact.
So remember this. None of us are perfect, but we're here to help each other. In order to be a stronger community and stop being buffooned by others, we need to work together. We need to pull together. And that means if you know somebody's beginning their transition, pull them under your wing and work with them.
Right.
Work with them.
Can I ask you a question before you go?
Yeah.
Okay, right here. Someone said, why do you have to transition? I understand the whole thing, but why not just stay who you are and like what you like? Do you see that comment?
Okay, well, we have two types of transitions. We have the non-binary and we have the binary. So if there's someone is not willing to go within the binary of transitioning and they are very comfortable being non-binary or what they call gender non-conforming, then that's for them. For some of us, we desire to take the medication and we know what the results are because it's going to put us within the binary. If somebody told me 20 something years ago that, you can be non-binary in your community and you wouldn't have to transition and this and that and yada yada, I'll be honest with you. If they said men could walk around with chestises, breastises, whatever they call that, them chestises, if my 36 C's, I could go swimming in 36 C's and be identified as a man, but not be identified as a freak at the beach, which was happening for me, then I would never have had top surgery. If they said to a trans woman, you do not have to have breasts, just be the woman you desire to be. Okay, we would have been fine with that. But we have been conditioned by society and our testosterone and our hormones. They do whatever, estrogen, they do what it does. I'm comfortable with my binary appearance. I'm comfortable with this. But I know within inside me, I was more than a woman. I was something very more masculine than just a lesbian. I knew something was different about me. So for my transformation, I did what I need to do to transition for myself. So whoever transition, it's for themselves where they're comfortable. If you don't want to transition and you just want to be a boy in a dress, call yourself a boy in a dress, which is a cross-dresser. Call yourself a cross-dresser.
You know
if that's what you want to do.
I wanted to let you go out after this question, but I like your answers and I like what you say. I got one more question for you because I really don't want to answer this question because it might not be the answer people want to hear. The last question, I promise you. It says, how do you deal with trans folk who don't want the community but want to blend?
Some people don't want to take part in interacting with others. That's what community is. It's others like self. Some people don't want to interact with others like themselves, but they want to walk amongst the earth and blend in like this wall. They want to blend in like that wall, and so nobody notices when you pass by them. There is nothing wrong with being stealth. That's stealth, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. I myself, by face value, if you didn't know I was transgender, you definitely wouldn't, now. Okay? I can walk amongst society without anyone knowing my story. But then again, being transgender is only 5% of what makes this man who he is today.
What up?
There are other qualities. There's 95% of me that makes me. The only 5% that makes me any different is that I am transgender. Okay. So because of that, I blend in naturally within community, within society. The only reason I fight for this community is because this is where I come from.
Exactly.
This is who This is where I come
Right.
from. You know, it's like someone being of color. I don't like saying black. Y'all know that. Somebody being a person of color, and they blend it. They hang out with Caucasian, Caucasians, with privileged individuals. White people is what I'm saying. And they blend in with these people and they hang out with them and they don't deal with black people. That's where their comfort zone is. That's where they want to be. Let them be there. Don't pick on them. Don't say nothing. Whatever they gain, they gain. Whatever they lose, they lose. We all grow, and in time we realize what we need to go back to gain what we really need. So sometimes a fish can be fed in a you know those goldfish, when you feed your goldfish in the little tank that you get at the, you know what I'm talking about, little fish tank.
Yeah.
And you put your goldfish in there, and you put the food in there, and the fish don't eat certain foods, but some fish eat certain things, and the other fish eat all the things up.
Yeah.
And that one fish is just only eating the orange piece. That's all he wants. If somebody just wants that one piece, let it be.
Let it be.
Don't criticize them. Don't jump on them. Don't jump on her,
Yeah.
he, him, or whoever they may be. Don't worry about them,
There you have
because
it.
that's where they're comfortable. We have to evolve as individuals in life wherever we're comfortable at.
Right.
We have to be comfortable without conflict.
Right.
And my transition was comfortable without conflict. I live by face value as looking like a bio-gendered male. Okay? I look cisgender. I'm living comfortable without conflict. Now, if some people want to live uncomfortable with conflict, that's their concern, that's their business. I can't do nothing for that. I can only be there for them as a human being.
Well, I hope that answered your question to the young lady who asked that question. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate this. This was like really dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna inbox you because I probably need a lot of your assistance. And I'm gonna inbox you. Somebody is calling right now. I'm gonna see what I think it's a trans woman, so I'm gonna see what they have to say. But I hope you stay tuned,
Okay,
right, bro?
Michaela and I, folks, for y'all to listen, it's funny. Michaela and I have a show we're gonna do tonight. We have a topic we're dealing, but we do shows. And anybody else, stay in touch with me, Flex Jones, yourself, my brother. I want to bring you on Thursday if I can, if you're available Thursday or Friday, to do a talk on Transmen. I'm trying to give us a space, because the girls, they got the whole internet covered. I don't know how that happened, but they got it all covered up. Okay, yeah. So I want the Transmen to have space once a month, once a week, to speak on whatever they need to speak on. We need that, and maybe this is where you'll have the idea of where your organization, the idea of your organization may fit in somewhere by doing these live feeds as well.
Okay, dope. Hit me up. Just let me know when you're going and you want to call up, or however it works, I'll call you up.
All right, my brother, you be real, you stay still, and remember, everybody, I love you, and if nobody else does, remember Flex Jones loves the whole world, even if the world don't love you.
He said he dares you. He challenges everybody to take one trans up under the wing. Yes. I challenge you too. I second.
Right. I don't care. I don't care if it's somebody. Here's my thing, and I'm really challenging you all. I don't care if they're within the binary or they're non-binary trans folk. I challenge you to take one person under your wing. Anybody, if you've been in your transition more than 5 years, I challenge you to take one person within the transgender umbrella, be it binary or non-binary, under your wing, and guide them.
All right, you heard.
Because without guidance, our community is falling apart.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
All right, my young man. You be good.
You too, bro. That was dope. I don't know how to hang up. Okay, there we go. That was dope as shit, guys. Share this live, man. It started out as one thing, but it's really going somewhere else, and I'm enjoying this. So let's see who this is right here. We're just coming in. Dana Adams from Harlem. I am trans. I don't know my journey for some years, but I started my hormone therapy in 2008. I got my surgery last year, February. Okay, what's up? How are you? What's going on?
How are you?
I'm great.
Oh, I've got the part. Yeah, I got the part. I said.
Oh, you breaking up?
I'm sorry. So y'all got to pardon the way I'm on here looking. I was cleaning and stuff, so I didn't have time to get cute for the folks. But
Oh, I was cleaning too. What's up, though?
I saw this conversation, and I just wanted to say because I'm a little old school in my thinking. Number one, uh, when it comes to the binary and non-binary and this umbrella thing, I completely disagree with this whole umbrella. I come from the school where when the word transgender first came about. When the
Mm-hmm.
word transgender first came about, it was a word to replace the word transsexual,
Right.
which were those people transitioning into the next gender.
Right.
Transgender was meant to replace that word because that word sounded too sexual and it was considered a more of a sex industry word, transsexual. So they called us transgender.
Right.
Then suddenly, transgender became an umbrella word to encapsulate all these other people who are, the transvestites, the trans, the androgynous folk, the non-binary. I don't believe that that's what that is. I believe that transgender is a very specific word that implies those who are transitioning from one gender to the next. It is not an
Yeah.
umbrella term. It is a very specific term. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the umbrella term that is aside from transgender is transvestite. These are the people who are cross-dressers, drag queens, non-binary, androgynous, and all that. That's an
Preach.
umbrella term.
Preach.
That's what I. And the reason why I say that is because now, when we consider transgender an umbrella term, it confuses people who are
It
making
does.
laws for us. We have bathroom issues because people don't know what a transsexual or transgender person is, and it
Mm-hmm.
confuses. So transgender is not an umbrella term. Transgender is made up of two words, trans and gender. That means you are changing your gender. If you're
Yes.
not in the process of changing your gender, you're not transgender. You might be transvestite, which implies someone who dresses as the opposite sex. You may very well be transvestite if you're
Mm-hmm. So the
whatever.
all right. So with that being said, huh? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Now, also, I want to say, about the blending.
Yeah.
There are there are two main sexes, male and female. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two main sexes. When someone is transgendered, it's because they were born mainly feeling like the opposite sex, mentally, physically. They may have some kind of chemical imbalances that make them feel a certain way. I know I did as a young child, and as a young child, I even started developing breasts without hormones. Just
Oh.
I've always felt this way. It was something that was naturally in me.
Right.
So those are the two main sexes. When people transition, it is because their main goal is to live and be that opposite sex because that's how they feel. So that's why most people would want
Right.
to blend. Let me tell you something. To the world, and I go into a grocery store, the first thing I want people to know about me is that I'm smart and have a pretty smile. The first thing I want people to know is not that I'm a transgender. I don't like wearing that transgender mark across my forehead because that's something that you should know when I want you to know, not something that you should know
Mm-hmm.
when you first see me. I don't want that to be the topic of conversation, which it usually is, and
Right.
it's usually the focal point. People know that ahead of time. If people know already that you're transgender, that becomes the
Right.
focus of everything that you're. And that's not what I want for me. That's what most girls want. Most girls want to blend. Now, you do have those who, don't get it twisted, I fight for my community. The way I live my everyday life is not having a transgender tag on my forehead. I like to blend.
Hold on. Hold on.
You
I'm
know what
trying
I
to
mean?
get my camera back. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My phone was acting up. I'm sorry. I don't know. My phone was acting up. I don't know what just happened, but am I still here? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can still hear me. My phone was just tweaking. I don't know what